Hi, good evening. Welcome to the IBD and Ostomy Support Show. Sorry we're a little bit late. We're having technical trouble with Steffi, and I'm in charge of the buttons tonight, so it's never going to go well. Oh, I can hear myself now. It's confusing me. Right, now that's gone. We don't want to hear that. Yeah, Steffi will be along shortly. She's just trying to sort out her computer. Steve's on tonight. Louise is stuck on her way home from London from her appointment, bless her. They've had all sorts of issues and her train's been delayed. And Rachel isn't feeling too good, so she's having a little break and will hopefully be back soon, but get well soon, Rach.
Yeah.
My week has been a little bit slow, really. I had the throat infection last week, so I've been taking my antibiotics for that, and that has started to clear up now. But Monday I ended up, well, Sunday night really, I started with a migraine, and by Monday it was full force, so I was throwing up all day and just basically spent most of the day in bed, which wasn't very nice. And then the last couple of days have just been sort of shifting that, really, because you're just sort of left with a headache and all that. But yeah, so it's been a bit of a washout, really. I've not done an awful lot. We had Layla and we took her Easter egg hunting in the park, and we went to Eureka Museum in Halifax, which is brilliant. And if you're in that area or want to go somewhere on a day out, I highly recommend it. It's
is it like a science thing?
It's like a science museum, but it's really interactive. So obviously Lola's only 2, and we were a little bit worried that she wouldn't get everything, but she loved it. It was so good. So I'm definitely going to take the boys there as well, because I think they'd really enjoy it.
We got something called the Think Tank in Birmingham.
Yeah,
I think it's the similar sort of thing.
Yeah. But no, it really was such a good day, and yeah, we really enjoyed that. So that was good. But other than that, I've not really done a lot. So I will pass you on to Steve, as Steffi's still not here.
Still not here. Hi, I'm Steve, aka the Baghdadi, the hashtag. My week. Right then, let me start. Rachel come over, what day was it? I think it was Thursday. We did the catwalk, Purple Wings catwalk on Saturday. That was an event. It was it was funny. It was hilarious. Everyone was really nervous. Yeah, no, it was really good fun, and it all went really well.
Oh.
Lauren. It was funny. It was just funny because obviously if you're walking down with people either side, you've either got to be really nervous and sheepish and look like an idiot, or just own it and march down there like a lion. And so that's what everyone did, really, and it was a good laugh. We had a right bit of fun. It's nice to meet everyone as well, and put a few faces that we hadn't seen before. Went for a curry with Rachel on Sunday at my friend's house, and Rachel had a bit of a. She had she thought she'd swallowed a chicken bone. She had a sharpness in her throat, and she was really sort of struggling to breathe. Quite panicked, more worried about upsetting the people who'd done the curry than anything. We made our excuses and we left, and I went straight up the hospital with her, and they admitted her. Fortunately, it was an esophageal spasm due to food bolus. So I think just a lump of food had caused her throat to spasm. She couldn't stop foaming at the mouth. It was quite worrying. It was, but the consultant explained it. It sounded about right, and we come back about 2:00 in the morning. We didn't want to stay any longer. They wanted to keep her in overnight, but there's nothing else they could have done for her. They'd given her, oh God, what's it called now? Buscopan.
Yeah, IV Buscopan.
Yeah, that calmed her down. That stopped the salivating, and we come home and rested and stuff. And Rachel went home Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, she went home Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much. I've done a bit of training. I've passed my money to Lauren, so I'm owed about £220 now out of my own money from gentlemen at work. I'm going to be less kind collecting this money because it's my money now. So
nice guys up, yeah.
yeah. Say goodbye to Mr. Nice Guy now. And that's pretty much been my week. Not much more, I don't think. Hi, Steffi. It's good to have you back again.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. 1 minute. Rachel's having a little break off Facebook, off the internet till sort of Monday, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just to take it easy because there's no shutting off with the woman. She can't switch off. So I think by switching the internet off, it's a good case of having a rest, watching a bit of crappy telly. She's just been swimming. She's had a nice swim with her friend. So if there's any messages, for either pass them through us or just go via other means than the internet, through text message and stuff. And over to you, Steffi.
Thank you. Let's face it, there shouldn't be anything like overly important that people need to message direct about.
No, that's it.
I spoke to her this afternoon, mainly because she was like, "Oh, Louise, I'll ring Steffi. Steffi can sort out the show." And then as I was trying to log in, Natalie had already done it. I was like, "It will not show me. It's not showing me anything it's supposed to." So, like, I was very confused. I was like, "It's not giving me any of the events. It's not letting me do anything." I'm very uncomfortable tonight because I apparently knocked my shelf off in the middle of the night. So I'm on Stephen's side of the bed and everything feels wrong.
You fell off the bed?
No, I knocked my shelf off with my pillow.
Oh.
With my pillow, yeah. When we still had a dog, he'd like half ride them off the wall. So they've done quite well to last another 2 years. What's going on with me? It's half term or end of term, and I've got both kids, and I'm going up the wall because Lyra is a mini me. She talks back. She has attitude. She won't eat, and it drives me insane. I'm sure there's plenty of other mums out there that have similar issues. She just wants a dad. She's just had her dad at home for the last 4 days, so she thinks that he can be at home all the time now. I've had a referral put in for exercise on prescription.
Exercise on prescription?
Yeah.
Really? What?
Yeah, I've been waiting since the beginning of the year for information on it, and my care coordinator forgot on the day she actually did turn up to see me, ignoring the day she was on holiday or on sick, because you can't help that. And the crisis team never bothered sending me information, but we got it sorted last week, and I've just had my referral put in. It's essentially for people that have long-term physical health issues, mental health issues, and you either get a reduced price or free with your local gym. You do it through your doctors. I'm writing a post on it for Tuesday in a little bit more detail, but I'm going through it more on the mental health side than, like, because my area, I'll get it for free, and you only get like 12 weeks, so it's not like a forever thing. I'm distracted by your Steve mask on the back there, if you mirror.
Yeah. My Mr. White.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I know who it is, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you got to watch it.
Stephen liked it, but I don't care. Or in my area, I have to pay like £30, which even then, that's not bad, like in the grand scheme of things. And I get all of the classes, swim and gym, for like included.
Oh, that's good.
So
The swimming
it's
as
something
well.
it's something that people should definitely look into. As long as the weather stays nice tomorrow, I'm going going for a run, starting back from day one, week one, because I don't think I'd be
treadmill
able to
run or out and about run.
out and about. While Stephen's at home, he can have the kids or come with us. And I have joined in with my little Fifi flower pot and the rest of her friends and like everyone that does cycle for IBD, and we're going to do the Yorkshire 3 Peaks this year.
Yeah, crazy. I saw a post about it earlier. I was like, oh, good luck. But
Oh,
no.
well, it was going to be the big 3, and then I got confused, and I was like, well, it's going to be cheaper for everyone just to do the Yorkshire 3 because it's 24 miles and you're done.
Is that a mountain climbs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the highest 3 in Yorkshire.
Okay.
And it's in the Dales, so if anyone watches like Emmerdale or has seen the title shot for Emmerdale, that's all the Dales, so that's like literally where the mountains are, which is where I grew up, just outside the Dales. So that should be good. Stephen's going to do it with me. He's already done it before, so.
And it's 22 miles in total.
24, I think.
Wow, that's up and down and.
Yeah.
So it's like a marathon over. Do you have to like camp out there and stuff?
No, you can do it in under 12 hours.
Oh.
It's a long day, isn't it?
Stephen did it in 6 or 7 with our sister-in-law.
You know it's going to rain, don't you?
There's a pub as well, so.
Is that sorted? So it's going to take more than 12 hours, then, isn't it?
Well, I think the pub's at one end of it. So, some of the chat that we've had in the Facebook messenger chat has been ridiculous between James and Cheeto talking about what outfits they're going to wear, like inflatable penises and Ace Ventura outfits and stuff.
That should be a laugh. It'd be a good way of earning some charity money as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of charity, if anybody is wanting to go to the ball this year, it's now on the 11th of August. There's been a few changes to the dates, some little oversights that, you know, the people that run the charity are human. Things have to get changed with hotels sometimes. But I will be going to that. And I'm sure Steve, who hasn't missed one, will be going.
I'll be going. You know I'm going. Can't miss that one. I want to be in the film this time, hopefully.
Too.
Yay!
Yeah.
A full house, didn't we?
I'd like to think that. I'd like to think Louise is going as well.
I think the plan is that everybody will be there, won't they, this year?
Yeah.
So I know I was just texting my friends who were supposed to be going as well, and I was like, "Oh, the date's been moved," because I know they've booked their hotel and stuff already, and they were like, "Oh, we can't find anything on the internet." I was like, "I'm sure it was posted on." Do you know when you think, "Oh, was I dreaming?" And but no, definitely been moved, so that's all right. But I've still not sorted my ticket or the hotel or anything yet. But
no,
mate. Message Lauren. She will do her best. If you've already booked hotels, she'll do her best to get your hotel date moved, because she does not want anybody to lose that money.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think, I know they booked a hotel, but I don't think you have to pay until you get there.
I had one of them peach ones today.
So, oh my God, it's so good.
It is actually, isn't it?
I liked the mango one, but this one is even better.
I didn't even know there was a mango one.
Yeah, there's
I don't like mango though.
Mango. It doesn't really taste very mango-y, I don't think, but it tastes quite nice. But the peach ones proper taste like peach. It's lovely.
I was trying not to have pop, as I'm trying to.
I know, me too.
Until I saw that. And I think a lot of my pop. I have an addiction to fizzy pop, and I saw it. I was like, I have to get one, and it didn't disappoint at all.
No, it's really, really nice.
What, is it infused water? Is it?
No, it's Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Okay, mango flavoured.
Peach.
Mango, and then there's peach.
Then there is a mango one. But lovely.
It's nice. So, what is the topic?
What have you been doing this week? Oh, we've done that, haven't we? So we're going all over the shop here, aren't we? We're talking about Coca-Cola now, right?
Yeah.
What Coca-Cola drinks we've been having this week.
We're talking about why you get stomas, different reasons for it. And I just did a little post on the live chat to see what the people there got theirs for, and we've had IBD, being born with an imperforate anus. I think they're the two answers that are coming up mostly on the chat. Obviously, there's lots more. Rachel has
pure autonomic dysfunction, isn't she?
Yeah.
Autonomic failure and
I can say it now if I can read it, but because I've not got it written down.
Autonomic neuropathy.
Neuropathy, I couldn't for the life of me think about it then. Yeah, it's, yeah.
And that's why she's got both her stoma bags. Cancer's a big one. Accidents.
So medical malpractice was actually surprisingly high.
Was it?
When we did the poll last year, I eventually found all my bits from the poll I did.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Childbirth was quite high. That affects a lot of people for urostomies more than like.
Does it?
Yeah. Well, my C-section, when I had my second section with Riley, they had to do a lot of repair work from my first one because my bladder was fused to my womb with like scar tissue and that. So the surgeon had to cut a lot of stuff away and repair that. So I can sort of see why that's, because they're obviously really close to each other, aren't they? And
yeah.
And can see why that would be an issue. I'm surprised. I've come across a couple of people with them that have had them through accidents, sort of like been in a car accident and something's been perforated or whatever, and they've ended up. And for saying all the people I meet with them, it's quite strange to come across somebody that's had one through that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've never met anyone who's had it through that.
For what, sorry?
For like an accident,
like a car.
That's not like an illness, basically. So
if you think about it, car accidents, that'd be quite high.
Mm-hmm.
Like because of the impact.
Yeah.
People falling off horses have had stomas because their insides are perforated. Yeah, so it's actually not as crazy when you think. Well, not crazy, but surprising when you actually sit there and think about it.
I mean, I think a big thing is getting rid of the stigma attached to stomas. Is that one, people have to be old to have them, and two, it's often through cancer, which it is. There's a percentage of people, obviously, with cancer that have to have a stoma, but it's very much not a lot of old people.
It's mad because I was always under the impression that it was older people. Now I remember visiting my granddad in hospital. I must have been about 6 or 7, and he had a. I'm sure it was a colostomy bag, so I swear it was on his left hand side, and it was huge. You know, and I remember it being see through, and it terrified me. And even my dad doesn't remember that. I spoke to my dad recently, and he doesn't remember that. But as a child, you don't forget something like that.
No.
But I was always under the impression, and that's probably the last time I even heard about them until I entered into this sort of world of the stoma world as we know it, you know, and with all the groups, and to find out that it really isn't rare at all, is it?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
It's insane how much the bags have progressed as well.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like we still have people in our support group that wear the rubber bags, or they like the clips rather than the Velcro.
Yeah.
And they're like hard clips. So
they must
mad,
dig in, I think. They must really dig in the clips, I think.
Wow. I suppose if you're used to something, you're used to it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, if they don't know any different, they're not going to change, are they? They're not going to. You just deal with what you've got.
Well, that's it.
I've had this bag 40 years, passed down from my grandfather. Yeah, I mean, they're probably just. It's probably a lot of them are probably not actually washable ones. They just use them again and again.
Mhm.
I wonder what the first ones were like. The very first ones that come out.
They had, yeah, they had.
Them.
Was it Respond that were tweeting pictures of about a month? Oh, was it Comfy? Yeah, about a month ago on Twitter, they were posting like pictures of bags through the ages and how they've come on, and the sort of the first contraptions that they used was just mind blowing. Like, you can't even imagine that that's what people had to deal with, and not that long ago, really.
Yeah, it's really funny. I think it's funny that we all say stomas, yet I did a post for Comfys on the different types of stomas, and it's things like you can have a stoma in your eye, you can have because it just means an opening. Well, it does, mouth, but it's just an opening. So, like, you know, in medieval times, they used to bore holes in people's heads. That was also a form of a stoma.
It's like a tracheostomy is a stoma as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have a stoma bag there, would you?
No. The amount of them was, I definitely learned something when I did that post, for definite. Yeah. But the fact that we just take it for granted and we say stomas and like.
There's also, I've got Louise's post up here. She did a post a little while ago about common misconceptions about stomas. And one of them is that obviously stomas are performed because of cancer, which is true. Ovarian cancer, small bowel cancer, rectal cancer, cervical cancer, bladder cancer, and prostate cancer could all lead to an ostomy. But also she's got things like congenital birth defects. Is it Ehlers-Danlos syndrome?
Ehlers-Danlos.
Yeah, that. Diverticulitis, slow bowel transit, which we actually, Kelly, who was on the show the other week, was it slow bowel transit that she had?
I think it was, yeah.
Freak accident.
Lazy bowel.
Lazy bowel, basically, yeah. Sepsis, neurological conditions, bowel obstructions, and then medical negligence.
There is a lot of people that have it for gastroparesis nowadays.
Yeah. And also there's obviously the things like the jejunostomy, which is what Steve's got. But his isn't. You can have a jejunostomy as a stoma output, as we all have them to poo. But his is one that goes in. So he obviously he's on the TPN at the moment, but he uses his to put his medications in to sort of bypass his stomach. Because his gastroparesis is so bad and he's so sick all the time. Obviously,
where is it absorbed?
It goes into the very first part of your bowel,
the duodenum.
Yeah, just literally just after your stomach. So it just bypasses that bit. And
so does he have two stomas now then, or is he just?
So he has two, yeah, because a jejunostomy is technically considered a stoma, although, like I say, his is for putting stuff in. And before he was on his TPN, he used to use that for his feed as well.
This is an innie and an outie.
So he does, yeah. But like I say, that's more to do with the gastroparesis side of it and cyclical vomiting syndrome, and the fact that his stomach just isn't working properly. So they sort of use it as a bypass. I do know one person with a stoma, a jejunostomy, and he uses it for output as well. So they can be for both. What was the other thing I was reading?
Graham and Derek in the chat saying there was no stoma bags for babies when they were little. Really? Graham said that he used to just be wrapped up in loads of bandages, and like I wonder if that's because babies are so little, you know. But nowadays you have like neonatal bags, and I think I've got one.
I was going to say they put them on the bears, don't they? It's really scary to think when you see them so small.
Yes, I do. I mean, that's a neonatal bag. It's stamped with little bears. This one's from Pelican. So I got it when I went to their factory back in October. Did a takeaway turn up, Steve?
Sorry about that.
Did a takeaway turn up?
I thought I needed to go and grab it while I remembered about it. Do you remember this from Pelican? It's in the size of it.
I love how we've just had exactly the same thought, but mine was right behind me.
Mine's at hand now. I got mine. It's tiny, isn't it? Absolutely tiny. I mean, I've got a big head, but it really is small.
Yeah, they were and like they had. Cause I've got a colostomy one as well down there. But they were insane. It's mad to think that babies get them because
I know.
You forget that you can get them from any age.
Yeah, I've seen it as well where, do you know the thing where babies are born with their insides on their outside?
Outside, yeah.
A lot of them have mostly just temporary ostomies while everything gets sorted. But I've seen that be a cause of young babies to have ostomies as well, at least for a period of time until it gets sorted.
Yeah, I've seen that. And I can imagine actually dealing with a baby with a ileostomy or a colostomy would be a lot easier than dealing with a baby's bottom. You know, I've obviously had kids, and you know, you can get nappy rash. I should imagine it'd be quite easy to deal with, to be fair, because it's in front. You get less soreness, I think, from a stoma than you would from a bottom. I'm not saying
as long as you've got your routine sorted, then your skin's normally pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And as long as the bag's fitting well. But the baby doesn't know nothing about it anyway, do they? Let's face it, totally oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah, it's a temporary thing. They probably wouldn't even remember.
There was that post that went viral, and it was an American post, and some old lady had made some vile little comments about this like 2-year-old little boy, just because his t-shirt had lifted up and there was like his stoma like there, like his bag hanging out, and she was like, "Oh, that's disgusting, you should cover that up." And it's like, first off, he's a child. Second off, he probably wouldn't still be alive if he didn't have it. And thirdly, you're elderly, show some respect. Everyone whitters on about the elderly. You're supposed to show respect to your elders. Why does that not work both ways? Like, respect is earned.
It's pure ignorance, isn't it?
Exactly.
And you know what? They'd come against the wrong people if they sort of say that thing and we're on the chat, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? You wouldn't let something like that slip.
No.
You don't really. We don't really see that very often now. Comments like that. I think people know better to sort of spout off like that in a different forum that doesn't have a predominantly large stoma wearing people in there. I'm going to say large stoma wearing people. I didn't mean it like large.
Large amount of them.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, you still get comments like, excuse me, I'm really tired today.
Stop it. It's really catchy.
I've been out of the house twice. This doesn't happen. I don't leave the house if I don't have to. And I left the house twice today and I'm knackered. But there's still people that comment if they've gone to the swimming pools and it's like, oh, it's so unhygienic, or it's like, well, actually, it's probably far cleaner than your behind, you know?
Yeah, it's right. At least my bumhole is covered up with a bag. It's right, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like someone else did a post about how they were told by some old lady to cover it up because no man would want to see that. It's like, how judgmental do you think every single man on this planet is, or woman? Because there's lots of men that think that women aren't going to fancy them as well with a bag. So not everyone is a judgmental prat like yourself.
No.
Not you, Steve. I'm not talking about you. I love you.
Yeah, but you're not going to fancy someone because of a bag or because not of a bag. You just accept the person. You fancy the person,
You will
don't you?
be surprised. One of the girls I'm friends with, she gets the amount of Instagram messages she gets going, "Oh, I love you because your bags. Girls with stoma bags are sexy." It's like,
really, that's just weird.
Yeah. She screenshots and sends them in a group. It's like
that's like the lion looking round the lake for the wounded gazelle, and just picking on the wounded ones. Ooh.
Thinking that weird. Someone's going to think that they're not that attractive because they have it. Like,
that makes me really weird then, because Rachel's got two. Shit, I best hang up.
So is Steve, technically.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Respect, Steve. It's all about the Steve.
I just asked because
I'm thinking of fitting that to me, yeah, and then I'll either look like I've really put on loads of weight, or you know what I mean? Because it's tiny, isn't it? That's it.
Your bag shrunk in the wash.
Right, sorry, Natalie.
It's all right. I was just sort of saying to Graham and Derek, because they were talking about the fact that when they were born, bags weren't around for babies. So they were bandaged, and asked them how old they were when they started to use bags. Graham said until he was 2, he had to be bandaged up. Every hour, the bandages had to be changed. They then tried a reversal, which didn't work. So he got his bag back when he was 7 in 1980, and then he had bags from then on. But yeah,
if anyone wants to read Graham's story, it is in the Let's Be Ostomy series on Comfort. And it's like one of the first times he ever really spoke about it, and it made me cry.
Yeah, it's quite a journey, isn't it?
Yeah, it made me cry, I have to admit. But yeah,
it didn't make me cry. I'm rock hard though, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was cutting onions at the time. I just had a watery eye. That was all. No, it is a really good story, but it's a brilliant read. A lot goes on that we don't know about.
That's why you should always be kind.
Exactly. You don't
know what's going on behind closed doors.
That's right. Never judge. No, it's really important, that is. Because everyone's got a story, isn't it? And everyone seems to think that someone else's story is more, worse, but to everyone is their own story, and we should be mindful of everyone.
That reminded me of, there's a woman on Instagram called Feeding of the Fox. She has a feeding tube just underneath her ribs, or that's what it looks like. She's got another tube, I think, somewhere. She's had eating disorders. She's disabled. She's got a lot going on, and she did a really big post today about how people, we've all put this standard of disability, so-and-so's got it worse than me, or I'm okay because I can do this, or oh no, I'm horrific because I've got this, this, and this. And people, it's affected how the government. That's why we have all these PIP assessments. It's there's not just you're disabled, you need help. It's how sick are you? You've
got to be proved to be worse than other people, and I hate it.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it?
Somebody actually asked me on my Instagram, how sick are you? And I was like, well, I'm not as sick as I was, and I now have more mental health issues because all the pain is gone, and that side of my IBD is gone. All the other symptoms that were just hovering around in the background have now come to the forefront. So no, I'm not sick with UC anymore, but my BDD is the worst it's ever been. My joints now suddenly suck, but I don't have arthritis because I've been tested for that. Like,
it's literally just a side effect, isn't it? I've been talking to a lady who's really struggling with her joints, and obviously she's been speaking to me because I have got arthritis. She's had umpteen tests that say, no, you've not got this, that, or the other. And she's like, I just don't know what to do. And I said, it's a side effect, and it's so hard because apart from managing the symptoms, that's all you can do.
Yeah,
I got told
absolutely.
at 15 that I had fibromyalgia, and then somebody else turned and said, "Oh no, you don't. We've done a test for that." There isn't apparently an actual test for fibromyalgia.
No.
It's not like a blood test and go, "Oh, you have fibromyalgia." It's a multitude of different things.
It's
and I was
often
told
when
by
they
a
can't.
rheumatologist.
Yeah.
A rheumatologist told me that at 15 that I had fibro, and like it just makes sense, my like symptoms and stuff. And then to be told that, and then my sister was like, "Oh, you do know that it doesn't actually exist." One of the doctors on my ward said it doesn't exist, and I'm like, "But
It's mad that because
she
my doctor treated me for fibromyalgia probably when I was 21, way before I got colitis. I was really suffering with my back. I was waking up in like the fetal position in the morning and having to sort of stretch up until I get a clunk in my back. He treated me with, I think it was amitriptyline.
Yeah.
I think that was the drug, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And literally, I took an article from the newspaper into him and I said, "Look, this chap here says he's got this. Everything that he's wrote down here is, equates to me." And he said, "Right, I'm not going to diagnose you with it, but we'll try it." And the drugs worked for a bit, and then they stopped working. Then he tried acupuncture, which worked for a bit until he stopped. But this was way before colitis, years and years before that happened. So there's always been like a joint problem. Now, when my colitis kicked in, obviously that was horrific for like 2 years, but I never had colitis and arthritis at the same time. If that was the case, God, the amount of accidents that I would have had because I couldn't have got to the loo. Now, I'm not joking. Now, the arthritis pains from my hips was by far worse than any colitis pain I've ever experienced. It was vile. It was taking me like 20 minutes just to get to the car. Just literally shuffling, holding onto sides, vile pain. And luckily now the Humira and the methotrexate coupled together, working fantastic for the arthritis. Absolutely brilliant. Fingers crossed and touch wood. Never touched my colitis, but it's working brilliantly for everything else. So I'm never going to forget how painful it really was. And anyone who says they're suffering with arthritis, especially in the hips, because you're in pain when you sleep, you're in pain when I couldn't get out of bed. I was nearly wetting myself just trying to get onto my front into a sort of push-up position so I could climb off my bed.
Yeah,
absolutely vile pain.
My left hip feels like it pops out.
Yeah,
every so often. It's even causing my granny hip.
I was having to wear jammers so I could literally grab my leg with my hand and pull it over because there was no power there at all. And now, fingers crossed, everything's brilliant, but you just don't know that when that's going to be taken from you like that. And so I never sort of judge anyone that says, they've got hip pain or they've got arthritic pain, because it's a horrible pain. It just drags you down.
Yeah.
I just get the swelling, and my knees is pretty bad. They click every time. Stephen said I can be upstairs and he can be down, and he can hear me bend down. And my ankles grind. But I took steroids for a very long time, pissed about with them for a very long time. So and messed around with what's the drug beginning with A that we all get put on that you're not allowed to go out in the sun, apparently, but nobody told me that.
Oh,
Where
God.
you got to check your white blood cells.
And amitriptyline? No,
it's an IBD drug.
Azathioprine?
Azathioprine, yeah. I used to piss about that, so that affected like my bones and stuff like that. So it's like part of me thinks it's my own fault. Like I used to mess around with my methotrexate and my infliximab. So I'm like the worst patient ever. So But it's like it's unbelievable how many people that have IBD that have some form of arthritis or a joint pain. I mean, the one that I can't pronounce that Steve has, that it's the awareness month that he wasn't going to mention, even though I told him off the other day and told him we should do a video. That
oh God.
can you pronounce it?
What's it begin with now? Has it ankylosing spondylitis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
AS, isn't it? That's
yeah.
See, that's what I've got, but it's also bracketed into sacroiliitis because it's the sacrum and it's the ilium in your hip bone. But it's ankylosing spondylitis, that is. I didn't know it was that month. I'm trying to forget it, to be fair.
Did? I told you on Tuesday.
I know you did, no, but I didn't know before that. It's not like I've got a calendar with all my illnesses on. Yay! It's ankylosing spondylitis month. Just a picture of me going, arthritis. West side.
What do you think as well, back to stomas, I've been talking to a really lovely girl who I want to wish the best of luck for next week. Ella, if you're watching, I've been speaking to her on Twitter. She's getting her stoma next week. And obviously she's had planned surgery and she's been messaging me about all sorts of different things, about questions and things she's been thinking about. And it's been really nice to help her out. But we were talking today about the whole having planned surgery versus having emergency surgery. And I mean, I found out the day before I had my stoma. So it wasn't a super duper high emergency, but it needed doing the next day. So I didn't have a lot of time to sort of get my head around anything. Whereas she's been waiting, and obviously this week she's had a pre-op and is getting more and more worried about things now. And I'm like, it's sort of a balance, isn't it? I think between knowing you're going to have it and being prepared as you can be beforehand, to just waking up with one and being like, oh, now I've just got to get on with it.
Well, this is the right question, isn't it? That's what I was going to say, because obviously, Steffi, so you knew, didn't you, Steph?
I chose to have mine 6 months before I was allowed to have mine, and I'd have had mine the week before, but the doctor's strikes happened that week, the week before.
Yeah.
Did you
I was in hospital when that happened.
No, yes, I was, because the day that I went home, all the registrars were running around like headless chickens, and one of my friends is one of the registrars on the ward, and it was insane. They were all running around like in scrubs with all these folders, and all the junior doctors, because they were like, oh, the junior doctors do all the work, and like they shouldn't, because, and they've obviously been junior doctors before, so they know they do all the work. And Stephen's cousin is a nurse on the surgical ward. She's like, nurses couldn't get away with that. If nurses went on strike, we'd lose our pins and be struck off because we have a duty to patients, whereas apparently doctors don't. Did anyone else know that?
Seems to be one rule for one, doesn't it?
Mm.
See, if I'd have known, now I wish I'd have elected my surgery. I wish I'd have known 2 years previous that I'd have felt so well with a stoma. So then I would have elected it definitely. If I'd have heard from someone like myself saying this is how you're going to feel after you've had it done, compared to how you have been feeling with your 30 trips to the toilet a day, I'd have gone for it definitely. Mine was like you, Nat. I knew the day before I was rushed into hospital. They said, right, and you're going to have surgery. You're going to have it tomorrow. No time to worry, really. I put a post on Facebook and then just read all the comments of people who've had it done and stuff. And so I was confident in the morning. I knew everything about it. So I knew everything about it. And I knew more than the doctors. All I was worried about was having the epidural.
See, I didn't have an epidural and was actually advised by a couple of people not to have that if it was an option. But I didn't realise you'd had that. But
with mine, the anaesthetist came through, and I was like, I don't like needles in my back. I don't like needles in my hands. And he was like, oh, I was like, you can put them in my elbows. I said, but if you need to put one in my hand, you have to wait until I'm asleep. I said, and then you have to remove it and before I wake up, otherwise I will absolutely freak out. I'm like, it's a massive anxiety issue for me for a long time. Even I can't even have acupuncture needles in my hands. It sends me absolutely. Just the thought of it's making me feel sick. But he was really good. Like I didn't have an epidural in my back, but when I know with my cesarean and the epidural and stuff, that was horrific. So I'm so glad that I had and the anaesthetist that did my surgery for my stoma was apparently the head anaesthetist in my cesarean. I didn't know that. Stephen apparently paid attention to that. But he was just overseeing things, not actually doing anything. So it's a shame that you couldn't use that expertise from one to the other.
My epidural was done by a doctor showing another doctor, showing a junior doctor how to do it. No, left a bit. Oh no, I think you've hit the bone there. I'm in the fetal position, yeah, and absolutely terrified because that's all I was worried about. To be fair, he's done it. It's worked. When I woke up from surgery, I was numb from my neck down. I couldn't feel my toes, couldn't feel anything. And over the next sort of couple of hours, they tuned the machine so that I could feel my toes, feel my heels, my shins, and they literally narrowed it down until I could just my sort of tummy area to my thighs was numb, but I couldn't feel anything, completely numb. And a gay doctor had to. I don't know if he had to, but he said, "Oh, you're sitting on your testicles."
Oh,
he said, well, just lift you up, sort you out. I thought, oh dear. Only when I'm off my face, you're gonna get away with that, mate.
Brilliant.
Hilarious. I just remembered that.
As a bloke, he thought about how uncomfortable you would be when you woke up.
I don't think he was thinking like that at all, Steph.
I think he was. When I remember with my J pouch surgery, I had the spinal block. Is that the one up in the little cavity in your shoulder blades? And they were like,
my spinals have gone in the same place as my epidurals all the time.
Oh, I had one up in the top half of in between my shoulder blades, and they asked me if I didn't mind a student doing it. I was like, well, no, they've got to learn, why not? And he missed it twice, and apparently they could hear me screaming down by reception, and he was terrified that he couldn't do it the third time. He managed it, but that gave me my initial fear of needles in my back. But I didn't say, no, you can't do it. Just carry on until you get there. But
I still don't like needles. I can't watch. Even taking bloods, I can't watch. I have to look away. I'm fine.
No,
I'm absolutely fine.
Do it.
Oh God, no! Even when they was putting the cannula in Rachel, I look away. I can't be watching it. Even if they're faking it on the television, I can't do it.
I struggle more with other people. When Steve's been in hospital and stuff, and when my friend Dan was in hospital, with he's got issues with his circulation and stuff, and had to have his leg amputated. And I remember being sat there, and the doctor came, and I was like, "Oh, do you want me to just go out?" And he's like, "No, it's all right." And when the doctor's saying all this stuff to him, I'm nearly vomiting and passing out in the corner because I was like, "Oh my god!" When it's me, I can deal with it a lot better.
If I happen to look, I look. If I don't, I don't. I'm not bothered at all.
Go all funny, I do. It's just that I could never be a heroin addict. Couldn't do it.
I don't like injecting myself. My ex's mum used to give me my methotrexate, and because she worked shifts, I would just not go around on a Wednesday, so that I would just go to the pub instead, and then not stay over, and she would then get to give me my methotrexate that week.
Fine with my Humira, but you don't see the needle. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like cheating.
Yeah.
And you haven't got to find a vein, have you? Let's say you just stick it in and press the button.
Graham's with me. He likes to watch the needles too.
He likes to watch.
Very prepared.
See, I felt like a huge junkie.
I don't have a problem injecting myself, but I have to do proper needles in my stomach and pens I have to do in my leg. I can't do them the other way around. I injected myself once in my leg with a proper needle, but I really don't like it. But yeah, I get freaky about. I can't do a pen in my stomach, and I really struggle to do an injection in my leg.
That's easy. You just pinch a bit of chunk, don't you?
I like the stomach because you can just but I just can't face the idea of shooting a needle into that. So
I mean, bear in mind, I've never used a pen, and I have done my own methotrexate in the past, and then nearly threw up. But I think with a pen, you go for your harder areas, and you just go stab, and you're done. Whereas you've got to, like, with the needles, you've got to wait for it to release. Or am I wrong?
I've never done the needle, only the pens, which I got to do mine tonight.
Is methotrexate a pen then?
Yeah, it's a spring-loaded pen, isn't it? No, sorry, no. No, I'm on about my Humira. My methotrexate is tablets.
My methotrexate's a pen now. They used to be injections, but they've changed methotrexate to a pen now. Yeah.
I've only ever had tablets with methotrexate.
I had tablets for years. I went on methotrexate when I was about 14 or 15 and started on tablets. But got to, must have been about 21, I think. And I spoke to my doctor about changing to the injections and the side effects of it, because it was making me sick. It makes me really nauseous anyway, but I was being physically sick. And obviously some of the tablets were coming out whole, but you don't know how many have come out, how many have, and so I was like, I'm not really getting a dose. And it was a lot more traumatic having to sit there and take, because you have to take like 8 of them, and that it was just a bit traumatic. Whereas I find the injection a lot easier, and the side effects, although I still get nausea and I still get the headaches, they're not nearly as bad.
I'm on like 6 of the method and the little tablets, and I always feel sick the next day. I mean, I have them, it should be Monday morning, but I have them Sunday night and try and sleep through the nausea.
Yeah, they always said to me to do that.
Horrible. You just feel really like you can't be sick. It's clinging onto you. You feel better if you could be sick, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But
they
call it the methotrexate hangover, and it really does feel like a hangover.
It does,
I never suffered that, ever. Maybe I didn't take it enough.
No, but if you take it more regularly, the side effects do get easier.
I don't think I ever got a side effect from methotrexate. It was literally just the fact I didn't like injecting myself.
Oh, no. And you have to take, do you take folic acid, Steve, as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
every day, except from that day,
So taking that regularly really helps as well.
Yeah.
Because I used to be a bit of a fool and sometimes forget to take that. And I found since making sure I take them every night, now I've got my little dosage boxes, so I make sure I get all my medications properly. That's really helped. Some weeks I can be absolutely fine, and some weeks it will just hit me like a train. But
every week, every week it shocks me as well. I get up Monday, and I go to work, and I just feel
yeah,
and I forget about it, and I think, why do you feel so rough?
You know, when you're busier, it's a bit more helpful as well, because it sort of takes your mind off it a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But see about switching to the injections though, because you often need less of a dose on the injections, because obviously it's just absorbed straight away rather than into your stomach. And I found it better.
You can't even be able to do a needle himself.
Oh no. I just told you I bleeding don't like injections.
Natalie just said she has it in a pen.
Yeah, it's a pen now, not an injection now. It used to be an injection, but it's a pen now.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Pens are easy.
Yeah. Just literally really, really like the Humira pens. They are.
Yeah.
And
there'll be that many
even less fluid
spins around the flat. There'll be that many sharp spins.
Oh, don't. You should see the pile in my house, because Steve's on TPN as well.
I bet there's loads, isn't there?
There is masses.
Just hazards everywhere.
It's all right, but we have to cart them back to his mum's because that's where obviously all his clinical waste it goes.
Yeah.
So back to his up in Halifax. It's a bit of a nightmare, but yeah, we can get it sorted.
Do we know what we're talking about next week?
I am not sure. I've seen there is a thing on Purple Wings, a show coming up, I think, but I don't know whether that's for next week or what.
See, we was going to be talking a bit about that tonight, but I'm the only one here that went.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is off, isn't they? So
we'll have to share some photos on the Facebook page, actually.
No, it went really well. It was good. It's good.
I wanted to go.
I know you did.
I was going to go up until the Friday before.
Yeah.
When I failed my theory test and then quite clearly couldn't pass my driving in time.
No.
No, you'd have loved it. It was good. And everyone enjoyed it. They're all clapping and cheering, and it was a laugh. It was good fun.
Yeah, because we had Layla this weekend, we couldn't do that. But if it had had the boys would have loved it to come. They are more than happy to. Leo's done little fundraisers for Purple Wings. He likes them because they helped Mummy.
Oh, bless.
Is anyone else? I know Steve and Rachel are. Are you and Steve going to the Get Your Belly Out ball this year, Nat?
No. I'm really sad, but we had to choose one this year, and it had to be Purple Wings.
You went to Get Your Belly Out last year.
Because of yeah, just money and obviously the kids and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll be sad. I'll be turning off my internet that night, so I can't see anything because I'm jealous. But I was talking about driving down. Birmingham's only sort of like 15 minutes drive away, just to see a few of the people in the hotel. I'm
lucky in that respect that everything's kind of central to me.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't necessarily got to get a hotel.
Yeah, and it's pretty cheap for me to get the train to Birmingham as well. So that's good. I think our train back from Birmingham the other weekend, it was only like 35 minutes on the train.
Are you going?
So I might pop and see them.
Are you going, Steffi?
Get Your Belly Out? No.
Yeah, you're not. No.
Mm-mm. There's just something that doesn't sit right with me about Get Your Belly Out, and I don't know what it is.
You know,
and my loyalty is with Purple Wings. So.
I've always had loyalty to Purple Wings.
Yeah, that's it. This year we have to make a decision.
You know what? I go for the people to link with people that I haven't seen for a bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about for me. Just sort of putting faces to pictures and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's nice to dress up in it.
It is. It's just nice to see. It's the one opportunity to get to see it, especially recently. I've not been able to get about as much as I've wanted to. So get to see everybody in one big go. But
this will be the first ball that I go to as a non-single man.
I was going to say.
It should be nice. So,
last year you were there, weren't you?
Yeah. I've been to 2 Get Your Belly Outs and 2 Purple Wings. I did a talk at the Purple Wings last year, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
I took all the pictures.
I was really nervous.
And then we went to the Christmas meal.
Yes. Oh, that was good, yeah. That meal was nice, wasn't it? In Bourton on the Water.
And that Christmas tree on the river. Christmas tree on the river.
It was gorgeous, wasn't it? Yeah, it was really nice. That's what I meant. That what's her name was there? Wasn't she? Laura Zapalula.
Oh yeah, Laura
was she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was on my table.
I hope they put us all together.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I got stuck with. I got put on the.
You got the calendar girls.
I got put on the calendar girl table, and I barely knew anyone, and I was just like, "But the IBD Ostomy show's over there." I was like, I want to be over there. You,
just have
you
to
weren't
move.
sat there, were you?
Huh?
You were sat separate, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't with it. Was I with the Ostomy show then?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
it was, yeah.
you had been guest posting. It was that day that we announced
was.
you were permanent, and you didn't know
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. Yeah, that was the first time I probably met Rachel, that was.
No.
Yeah.
It's a love story.
Yeah. It's another story.
It was the purple wings ball that me and Steve kind of went public. Not last year, the year before, because not many people knew before then.
I remember sitting at the back of the conference and watching you walk in with your hair all done up in the little donut.
I look gorgeous, didn't I?
Of course you did, Steve. I'm pretty sure the first thing I said to you was, "I like." You turned around and was like, "Oh, I like your tattoos," and I was like, "Oh, I like your waistcoat."
I did that. Wasn't that the purple one, the original?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't wear a waistcoat twice, you know.
Oh, really? It's like with dresses.
No.
Although
Yeah,
I've already got my dress this year.
We're after 9 o'clock, so I think we're wrapping up.
We'll have to go. Well, we
fine.
will see you all next week. Again at 8, but we don't know what we'll be talking about, so probably just lots of random chatter like tonight. But thank you for joining us, and good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Ta-ta.
TTFN.